I'm going to show you a chart that no one seems to be talking about, and I think it's very important. It's not the one you see here. We'll talk about this one, then we'll get into that chart, and I'll show you why it could mean weeks of a down market. And then the 5 events, will rattle them off that could hopefully push us the opposite direction. I'm Brian, Big Dumb Animal. That's my disclaimer. Don't do what I do. Informational purposes only. If you're interested in some exchanges or I Trust Capital, I've got links down below. Please check out my description. And at the end, we'll talk all about my crypto school. Because look here on the screen, I posted this last week. We've been talking about this. We do daily updates in the crypto school. And what we were talking about was the fact that this chart you see here is total 3. It's the entire crypto market minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. And as you can see, this is on a weekly. And this is the last bull run 2021 peak, the current one, and we're waiting to get through it, hopefully with a significant volume push, come back, and this, what is currently somewhat of a resistance line, becomes basically a support. You look at the MACD, and you can see the movements with the green and red histogram, as well as the MACD and signal line. And it was signaling that this is getting pretty close to maybe the end of a bullish up movement and potentially a downward movement. We talked about it for a week. I happened to have posted it on Friday right before the market did that tank. And I basically said, hey, what do we think? We think it's going to push through, or do you think it might come down with a correction? I'm not in any way saying I predicted what happened on Friday. No one could have predicted that. That was a fluke. Let's get into the chart I want you to pay close attention to. Okay, this is the total market. Everything. Weekly. This has 2021 all-time high right here. We're essentially looking at just 24. I guess it starts in about October here. We've got November, December, and then this is 24 as well as 25. Okay, so we've got 2 years or so of the market. As you can see on the weekly, the crossings and the histogram, the movement's up. This is the high of that movement. This is the low of the movement. It retraced about 40%. That makes sense. You can see it with the red histogram here. The next run up, we printed a higher high. It means that this high is higher than this one. It's what you want to see. We then dropped down 38%. We printed a higher low. This high, this low I should say, of this movement is higher than this one. So we're printing higher highs. We're printing lower lows. We have corrections along the way up. We had a 40% correction. It coincided with the MACD. We've got the 38% correction. It coincides with the MACD. When I say that, I'm basically meaning these crosses as well as the red in the histogram being red and some of these really taller bars, which is the divergence between the two. I've got videos all about MACD, how to read it, exactly what it means in the school, but as you see here, this one was 38%. Now, so here we are in the most recent run up. And it seemed to have peaked here because we're down. We've been moving down. Now, we don't know where it's going to stop. It's possible there are 2 ways that this could go. Obviously, maybe 3. I guess sideways, up, or down. Some people might say, well, the reason these lines crossed and the reason we moved into this red territory, which potentially shows another leg down, is because we had this crazy day here. I'll just move this aside and you can see the wick went all the way down here. We had that abnormal day, and that's what really kicked it off. And that was abnormal. That was a fluke. There may have been some mistakes by exchanges and other things in the background, whatever. It wasn't normal market activity, and therefore it's not a typical consolidation. So maybe this should never have happened, but that was on Friday, the end of last week. I believe these start every Sunday or Monday, the new week. I think it's every Monday. Yeah, every Monday. So here we are, the new week. We're starting with a down. Now, we don't know where this is going to go. So if the theory's right that this was a complete fluke, shouldn't have happened, we might just continue to push on the upside, and this particular bull push may continue to move. On the other hand, the reason I wanted to point this out, I think you should watch it closely if that's not the case. And this is a typical correction because it did print a higher high. And if we have a bottom and a reversal, hopefully in this space, maybe a little lower, it would have printed a lower low. This, I'm just guessing, this is a 30% move, which would take us to the 2021 all-time high, which we're all hoping is support. We don't really want to come through that, but we had a 40% correction. We had a 38% correction. There's a possibility that we could have a 30%, a 20%, maybe a 40%. Ideally, it's going to print a higher low, but this needs to be watched. Those 5 events I alluded to, M2 money supply is continuing to go up globally. The U.S. Fed, October 29th is a meeting. Everything seems to say that rates will be cut again. I think the market's baked that in. That really better happen, and we're going to see things turn the wrong direction. The China deal, not a deal yet, pushed to November 1st. Hopefully some positive news this month. The federal government shutdown, at the time I'm recording this, federal government is still technically shut down. Essential services and employees still intact, but we're hoping that that will turn around. That would be positive. And lastly, and this is just a shot out of nowhere, rolling of the dice, ETFs at any time, some of these spot crypto ETFs that have been filed in the past could be approved at any time. I say at any time because they changed the criteria of how they evaluated them. They have new criteria, and there's a handful that fit the new criteria and literally could be approved at any time. I'm hoping that this was somewhat of a fluke, or maybe we'll have a pullback to, let's say, 3.4 trillion or so. Those 5 events will start kicking off one after the other, and we'll rock it up. But regardless, if you want a general idea of the total market, watch it on a weekly basis with the MACD. You might say, Bitcoin's 60%, 55% of the total market. I'm looking at my altcoins. What do I care about this? You'd be surprised if you put charts next to charts and you take the total crypto market and you overlay it with any of the top 50 cryptos. They almost match perfectly in movement. Now, the total market may go up 2%, and the crypto may go up a little more, or the total market down 2% and the crypto more, but you get the general idea. Thanks. I hope this was helpful. Listen to my school community. Have a good day. Love how I break things down? Then hop into my crypto school. You'll get step-by-step courses on everything: buying, selling, staking for yield, borrowing, lending, even going fully debanked. Plus, join lively crypto chats and catch my daily market updates. And lastly, if you just want to help support the channel, there's a join button just below this video.